In Lamed Beis, Sif Lamed Gimel. This mechaber is dealing with the halachas of not having anything sticking out of the lines. If something goes past the line, first of all, it's a problem, doesn't look so nice, so it's zakeli vanveyu. And also there's too much, you can't have a word past the line. It seems to be a halacha mishmasina, but it's definitely a psal. So yasa hashur shabbos, all the lines should end in the same spot. Shloitei achas nichneches v'achas yotzis. That shouldn't be it should be justified in the word document. But you have to make sure, as we'll see in a moment, 1 or 2 letters can stick out. But 3 letters, that's so much that it's a problem. Vim kasvam loy pasal. But if you did, it's not possible, but it's 3 letters is a problem. The Mishnah Berurah says, even 1 letter is really an issue. Why? It doesn't look nice to have letters sticking out. But 3 letters you have to be makbid on. The Mishnah Berurah says, meaning one could argue that it's only a problem of 3 letters if 3 letters are the majority of a word. Meaning, if you have a word that's 5 letters, so then you have 3 letters out. It's mamash roiv. He says, no. Even if it's the minority, let's say I have an 8-letter word. So 3 letters is the minority of it. It's still a problem. He says, also, he says, Uba Yeredeya pasuk Rambam, but the Mechaber in Yeredeya seems to not say it like this. When it comes to Sefer Torah, the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, 3 letters is fine as long as it's the minority of the word. Meaning an 8-letter word, 3 letters is fine. Seems to be a contradiction, and you should be machmer, as the Mechaber says over here. And definitely the El Rabbi says that it could be we're more machmer by tefillin, which have shorter, smaller margins than a sefer Torah. Okay, now if you did it, it's not possible because again, this is just chumras l'chachila. The Mechaber says in Lamed Dalet Beis Oisius. So we said that it's the issue of 3 letters. Meaning even 1 letter is not mahudr, but the real problem begins when it's 3 letters. Technically, 2 letters is fine. What if 2 letters are a word b'fnei atzmai, like the word im? It's 2 letters, but it's a word b'fnei atzmai. It says in the Mechaber, you definitely should not write 2 letters outside of, if it's a word, should not be sticking out of the boundaries. Again, 3 letters, if it's a 3-letter word, then 2 sticking out is not the problem, because it's the issue if it's 3 letters, but 2 letters, and it's a word b'fnei atzmai. So the main issue is 3 letters, or 2 letters if it's a word b'fnei atzmai. Then the Mechaber says in Lamed Hey, Oisius Hashem, but if it's a letter of the name of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, then it can't be, any letter can't be sticking out. We're very machmer that the Shem Hashem has to be within the margins. The Mishnah Berurah says, even if it's not Yud Kei Vav Kei, let's say it's Aleph Dalet or Aleph Lamed Kei Yud, you understand? That's also an issue. Magen Avraham b'Shem Hagoyin Rav Yitzchak Mipozna asik d'daf l'chachila b'diavad l'hachmer. He says that even by Hashem Hashem b'diavad it's fine. Umikol makom, interesting. So b'diavad is fine. So we're makel b'diavad, but l'chachila you should be machmer. So you always hear that, you think that means before you write it. He says, no, there's a matzav l'chachila. What's the case? If you have a sefer Torah, you could write it out of order, right? So let's say you wrote the 2nd row, the last letter is a Shem Hashem, but it went too far. So go to the top row. If there's no Shem Hashem, erase the entire top row and rewrite the entire top row to make it further so that you reset the boundaries. Because that's l'chachila. Because that we're only makel b'diavad. B'diavad means it can't be rectified. This can be rectified. He says it can be sefer Torah, and obviously can't do this in the mezuzah or tefillin because those can't be written out of order. But sefer Torah, kol asher seyadim im ein behem shum shem shemes shein mechakim lim shchaisam sheshavas im Hashem me'achad ashel tkuna lemikal b'diavad. Am hayashem lamayla is Hashem. But if obviously in the top row it has a name of Hashem, you can't erase the name of Hashem. Or b'tefillin and mezuzahs the ashel limchak. Yesh, then it's fine. But he says yesh machmirim. There are those that are machmir. I feel b'diavad that even b'diavad, if a name of Hashem is sticking out, it's an issue. Now he says one other eitzah. Let's say you have that the top row ends. The last letter of the top row is ends with a beis dalet or resh. They could be extended. So then all you do is just extend it with any of them. Extend it. So if the top one is dalet of echad, just make it longer. And then you reset the boundary. Beis Dalet and Reish can be extended, and that'll fix the situation. What last halacha? The Da'oid says in Mishnah Berurah, the Ba'oisis hanetvalos laHashem haskamas acharim dein lahachmer b'diavad. Even though we're machmer even b'diavad, according to many poskim, with the Shem Havaya, the Shem Hashem, But if it's a letter that's mitfalim, let's say Elikecha, so the chaf of Elikecha, although it has kedusha because it's part of Hashem's name, it's considered an ancillary name. It's a letter. It's not from the shirish. That we're not machmer b'diavad. That's fine. But it's only the shemas Hashem, but the nitfalim l'shemas Hashem that we're makel b'diavad. And tomorrow we'll deal with the psucha and stuma.